Fantasy football season approaching. Here's a few rookies I would target entering draft day for fantasy owners. The first rookie, Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison, one of the highly touted receiving prospects in many years, coming out in the NFL draft. And last season, what a year he had once again in college football. And going high in fantasy drafts, mid-second, early third round in most formats is Marvin Harrison Jr. So Marvin Harrison stepping right in to a good situation with a pretty good quarterback in Kyler Murray that could get the ball down the field and get him the football. Also, Trey McBride in the offense, James Conner. And I think in that mid-second, third round, I would be comfortable taking Marvin Harrison Jr. The upside is unlimited, and that's what I'm going to say a lot in this video about the rookies. You don't know the upside. You don't know what these players can do. We saw last season Puka Nacua, Devon Achane have monster seasons. Jahmyr Gibbs in their rookie years. Bijan a pretty good year. So like I said, rookie guys, you never know what their ceiling could be. And Marvin Harrison's definitely going to be one of them going into a good situation where you usually see a good wide receiver go into a situation where there's a bad quarterback. But obviously, Kyler Murray, one of the better quarterbacks in the top echelon in the league. So I believe Marvin Harrison's going to have a good season. I like where his ADP is, and he's definitely a rookie I'm going to look to target and draft going into drafts. Next rookie, Malik Neighbors of the New York Giants. The Giants, they pretty much have no one on offense over there in New York. Saquon left in free agency, signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. You got Malik Neighbors, Darren Waller retired, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, Wendell Robinson, so not much to work with on the offense. And this Giant team, most likely, they're going to be trailing early and often in ball games where they're going to have to force feed Malik Neighbors. And Daniel Jones, I know he hasn't looked good over the last season and changing so far in the preseason, but I believe Malik Neighbors, just on volume and force feeding him, will put up numbers, and his price tag right now is that early fourth, mid-fourth round of most fantasy drafts. And to be a number 2 wide receiver or a third receiver flex option for fantasy owners, I think it's a good price for Malik Neighbors. Obviously, if he was in a better situation like Marvin Harrison Jr., he most likely would have been a mid to late second rounder in fantasy drafts. But right now with Malik Neighbors, the number 1 target, not much over there in New York offensively. He's going to get a lot of looks and become a solid player going into fantasy football season. Rookie Xavier Worthy of the Kansas City Chiefs. Xavier Worthy quickly moving up the ranking board for this Kansas City Chief team and in fantasy football, with Hollywood Brown out 4 to 6 weeks and most likely missing the first few weeks of the season with the injury. Xavier Worthy's gotten a lot of work with the starters in training camp and in the first preseason game. And Worthy was a first-round pick for a reason, and a lot of people comparing to a Tyreek Hill type for this Kansas City Chief team. So we know this offense last year had its struggles but still prevailed and won the Super Bowl. And Rashee Rice, it doesn't look like he's getting suspended, but Xavier Worthy going to step right in as number 2 wide receiver, it looks like, for this Chief team with Brown out. He's got great speed. You're playing with Patrick Mahomes, and to get Xavier Worthy anywhere from that 7th to 10th round range, I think is great value for a potential breakout and a wide receiver who's has an unlimited ceiling, obviously, playing with a Mahomes and the speed he has, where he could play that Tyreek Hill role when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. So right now, I like the value for Worthy. He's moving up by ranking board at the wide receiver position over the last few weeks here. And like I said, there's even a chance if Rice gets suspended, he'll really get a lot of workload as well, even though it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So Xavier Worthy's definitely a rookie I would target this season. Next rookie's Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders. Another situation just like Neighbors, where Bowers, he's not going into a great situation. Gardner Minshew, I know he won the starting quarterback job, which I think is a little bit better than Aidan O'Connell, because at least Minshew last season showed he could be a gunslinger and get the football and drive it down the field. So Brock Bowers, one of the highly touted tight end prospects to come out in the last decade, and I think getting him in that 9th, 10th round range is good value for Brock Bowers. I know this Raider offense, they got some playmakers, obviously Devontae Adams, also Jacoby Myers, decent number 2 wide receiver, but I believe Bowers, he could have that 600 to 700 yard season with anywhere from 60 to 70 catches. And this Vegas Raider team could be a team struggling early and often this season. So right now, with Brock Bowers going at a good value, I believe he's definitely a tight end to target. And I wouldn't be disappointed if I went to into the season with Brock Bowers as my number 1 tight end. The upside is there, the athleticism is there, and we saw what he could do in college. Next rookie, Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Brian Thomas Jr., he most likely is going to be a starter for this Jacksonville Jaguar team. So far, we saw him line up with the starters in preseason, and they went out there and they used the first-round pick was this Jacksonville Jaguar team. I don't think they're just going to bring Thomas in and he's going to be buried on the back of the depth chart. So Gabe Davis signed in free agency as well. But I think Brian Thomas is a big target, and Trevor Lawrence, we know he's one of the highly touted prospects to come out over the last few seasons as well, where last year he did take a step back as Lawrence, but now he got his deal. Now you got more length at the receiver position, and I think Brian Thomas in his rookie year, especially ADP-wise, where he's going anywhere from the 8th to the 10th round, is good value for fantasy owners. Someone who has a high ceiling, someone who could become a playmaker. And this season in the NFL draft, the wide receiver position was way more deeper than the receivers coming out last year. Besides Puka Nacua, no rookie receiver really was consistent week in and week out. I know Zay Flowers, he had a couple good games last season as well. But this season with Marvin Harrison, Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, Rome Odunze, guys I'm going to mention in this video, Keon Coleman, better ceilings for these rookies and more upside as well. So Thomas playing in an offense where they're looking to drive the football down the field. He's a playmaker and a good ADP range, 8th to the 10th round. Next rookie, Ladd McConkey of the Los Angeles Chargers. So pretty much no competition over there for the most part at the wide receiver position for McConkey, where Keenan Allen, he was traded off to the Bears. Mike Williams left in free agency, signing with the New York Jets. Now it's Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnson, and Ladd McConkey is the top three options at the wide receiver position for this Los Angeles Charger team. And we know Justin Herbert, he's still one of the more talented quarterbacks in the league. I know he lost a bunch of weapons like I mentioned this season, but Ladd McConkey definitely could pay dividends, and the Chargers spent a pretty good pick on Ladd McConkey. So another wide receiver going from that 9th to 12th round range in most fantasy drafts is McConkey, with the possibility of becoming the number one wide receiver quickly on this Los Angeles Chargers team. And like I said, to play with a talented quarterback like Justin Herbert, I think McConkey's going to be fine. I think as a bench option or in deeper leagues, a flex option, he can help fantasy owners. And definitely a rookie I would target going into the season. Next rookie, another wide receiver, Rome Odunze of the Chicago Bears. So this Bear offense is loaded. Caleb Williams they got in the NFL draft. Then with their second pick in the first round, they got Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen they traded for. So this team, a lot of weapons. DJ Moore last season, Cole Kmet, signed DeAndre Swift. A lot of weapons on this offense for the Chicago Bears. Odunze, they might break him in a little slow, but Keenan Allen so far coming into training camp, the reports haven't been great, where he's come in 20 pounds overweight from where he was last season. Even though I know Keenan Allen's a pro, it's a contract season, and I believe he's going to get in better shape and he's going to have a good year. But Rome Odunze, as someone in that 8th, 10th round range, is a wide receiver with upside. They took him obviously early in that NFL draft for a reason, and to have a quarterback like Caleb Williams, I know he's a rookie, but he's got a big arm and could get that football down the field, where Odunze could be a deep ball threat, with Keenan Allen being that underneath guy and DJ Moore being the all-around wide receiver. So right now with his ADP and the offense he's in, where he's going to get a lot of single coverage and work out of the slot at times as well as Odunze, he's definitely a rookie to target going into the year. Next rookie, Keon Coleman, wide receiver of the Buffalo Bills. So that wide receiver room wide open in Buffalo. Gabe Davis left for free agency, signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Stephon Diggs, obviously they traded away Houston Texans. And now Curtis Samuel signed to free agency. Keon Coleman they drafted, and Khalil Shakir as the receiver. So I don't think it's crazy to think that Keon Coleman could step right in and become a number one wide receiver on this offense quickly. In the worst case, even if he's the number two wide receiver, to play with one of the better quarterbacks in the league like Josh Allen, who drives that football down the field. He gets guys open just the way he plays the quarterback position. And Keon Coleman is raw talent as well, where he's got to work on some of his technique, but still can make plays. And this is why this Buffalo Bill team took him. And like I said, I don't think Curtis Samuel has that high of a ceiling where Keon Coleman can beat him out. Shakir's more of a slot and a speedster, third wide, fourth receiver in my opinion. And I think Keon Coleman could pay dividends for fantasy owners. And he's a wide receiver going in the back end of fantasy drafts, anywhere from that 10th to 13th round range. I've seen him in most drafts and most ADPs is Keon Coleman. Next rookie, Jonathan Brooks of the Carolina Panthers. So Jonathan Brooks coming off a torn ACL where he had in college last season. He's going to miss the first 3-4 weeks of the year, but there's not a lot of competition over there as well for a Carolina Panther team, which once again, I believe they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I know they got Deontay Johnson in the offseason. Bryce Young entering in his second year might be a little bit better, but I still believe they're going to be a bottom half team. Is this Panther team. And at the running back position, Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, they're not horrible running backs, but I believe Jonathan Brooks with his upside and coming off the ACL even could go out there and quickly take this starting job over once he's back in action. It's most likely going to be mid-season because let's say he does come back week 3, week 4 is Jonathan Brooks. By week 7 or 8, I believe, if he gets his legs under him and he looks good and he's recovering quickly from these ball games, Jonathan Brooks is still going to get more of a workload. So there's a lottery ticket type of pick in the later rounds for Jonathan Brooks. Someone to stash on your bench and hope he breaks out. It's definitely a possibility, I believe, this season, especially to get him in that 10th to 12th round range as well, where his ADP obviously fell off since the injury news came out that he's going to miss the first few weeks of the season. Next rookie's another running back, Blake Corum of the Los Angeles Rams. So Kyren Williams, no doubt about it, had the monster season last year, but injuries are a concern for Kyren Williams, and he's one of the smaller backs in the NFL where a couple big hits could put him out for a few weeks. Last season he missed 4 weeks, but still one of the best running backs in all fantasy football in the NFL. But Blake Corum, they spent a nice draft pick on him, was this Los Angeles Ram team, and I believe at minimum he's going to work his way and getting some work for this Los Angeles Ram team. Kyren Williams a little fresh, and he's already one of the better handcuff running backs, I believe, in the league, as well as Blake Corum. So right now, to get Corum in those later 11th, 13th round range where he could be a lottery ticket as well as a handcuff for Kyren Williams in a dynamic offense with Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. I believe Blake Corum is a flyer guy and a lottery ticket because, like I said, if Kyren Williams goes down, Blake Corum could step right in and be a top 15, 18 option weekly. God forbid an injury happened to Kyren Williams. So as a backup and a handcuff running back, I think he's a decent guy to target, and that's a few rookies I look to target with fantasy football drafts coming up in the next few weeks and the season starting, entering the 2024 season.